Hello and welcome to Granny Mo's Bookshelf. Today we're going to be reading The Steadfast Tin Soldier. This is from the Lending Collection, Massachusetts Divisions of Public Libraries, State House, Boston. The Happy Hour of Books, copyright 1927 by the Macmillan Company, New Jersey City, by the Jersey City Printing Company. Published August 1927. The Steadfast Tin Soldier. The Steadfast Tin Soldier. Tin Soldier, tin soldiers, cried the little boy, clapping his hands. There are 25 of them in a box, and they had been given to him for his birthday. Now he took them from the box and set them up on the table. They were all just alike, except one. This poor fellow only had one leg, but he stood as firmly on this one leg as the others did on their two, and he is the hero of our story. The little boy had many other presents for his birthday. On the table in front of the tin soldier was a beautiful castle, and there were trees around it, and in its door stood a little paper lady, and she was dancing. She stretched out her arms and lifted one leg in the air. The tin soldier thought she had only one leg like himself. She would be just the wife for me, he thought, but she lives in a castle and must be of high rank. Still, I would like to know her. So he hid behind a basket where he could watch the paper maiden. At night, all the soldiers were put away in the box, and the little boy went to bed. And then his birthday playthings began to play. They ran and jumped and fought. The tin soldiers rattled about in their box, for they wanted to get out and join the sport. The only playthings that did not move were the tin soldier and the dancing maiden. She remained standing on the one toe of her one foot and her arms outstretched. He stood firmly on his one leg with his eyes never turned from her. The clock struck 12. Crash! Off flew the lid of the box and at the soldier's elbow, and out jumped a little black imp. Hold on a second. He's green. Looks like he's green to me. Tin soldier, said the imp, keep your eyes to yourself. The tin soldier never turned his head. Well, wait till tomorrow, said the imp. Yeah, he's definitely green. The next morning, the little boy placed the tin soldier on the windowsill, far away from the little dancer. Suddenly, the window blew open, and the tin soldier fell to the ground 3 stories below. A dreadful fall that was that. He landed on his head with his gun sticking to the ground and one leg pointed straight up. The little boy came running out of the house to find his lost soldier. He looked and he looked, but he could not find him. If the tin soldier had cried, "Here I am," the boy would have found him. But soldiers never cry, thought the brave tin soldier. Now it began to rain, and there was a heavy shower, and the water ran in the streets. And when the shower was over, 2 boys came by. "Look," said one, "here is a tin soldier. Let us give him a sail in a boat." So they made a boat out of an old letter and put the tin soldier in it, and away he sailed down the gutter. The boys ran alongside him, clapping their hands. The paper boat rocked to and fro until the tin soldier was dizzy. Still he did not move, but stood firmly on one leg, looking straight ahead, clasping tightly at his gun. All at once, the boat sailed into a tunnel under the pavement. "Goodbye, tin soldier," cried the boys. It was dark in the tunnel, as in the tin box. where shall I go next? Thought the soldier. Is this what the imp meant when he said, wait till tomorrow? If only the little dancer were here with me, I should not care even if it were twice as dark. Just then a great water rat swam toward the boat. Stop, it cried. Where is your passport? But the tin soldier was silent and held his gun with a firmer grasp. The boat sailed on and the rat followed. The stream flowed more swiftly. The boat came out from the tunnel and the tin soldier saw the bright daylight. And then he heard a roaring noise of the waterfall, and the boat rushed forward and spun around and round, and it filled with water. It was ready to sink. The tin soldier did not even wink. He stood still and stiff while the water rose up to his neck and over his head. He thought of the paper dancer. Farewell, dear lady, said the tin soldier. He felt himself sinking. Just then he was swallowed by a large fish. Oh dear, he's just having a really bad day. How dark it was, darker than in the tin box, darker than in the tunnel. The tin soldier was as brave as ever. He lay quiet for a long time, still holding his gun. Then it was light again, and someone cried, "The tin soldier!" The fish had been caught and taken to the kitchen. The cook had cut it open and found the tin soldier. And there's the imp. He was taken into the playroom and put on the table. Can you believe it? He was in the very same room he'd been in before. There were many children about. Every one of them came to look at him, the wonderful soldier who had been swallowed by a fish. The tin soldier stood up on his one leg. There were the other playthings, and there was the fine castle. And there was the pretty dancer standing on one leg. She held the other leg high in the air. He could have cried with joy, but soldiers do not cry. He looked at the dancing lady, and she looked at him. Neither spoke a word. Now one of the little boys took the soldier and threw him in the stove. And what made the boy do this? No doubt the imp in the box had something to do with it. The tin soldier felt himself growing hot and beginning to melt. Once again he looked at the little dancer. Wow, he's having a very bad day. The door opened and a breeze blew across the room. The wind caught the maiden and she flew right straight to the tin soldier, and they both flamed up and the blaze was gone. Flamed up in the blaze and were gone. Tragic love story. When the servant took the ashes out next morning, she found a little lump of tin in the shape of a heart. The end. I hope you enjoyed that book, The Steadfast Tin Soldier from 1927. If you like the content, please share, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Do the thing. Love you all. Take care.